What is this? Are you recording?
You want me to take it out?
Please.
The recording, yes.
Okay.
I didn't see that part.
Okay, I have to give a shout out to
Good
Courtcast
morning, Ms.
12.
Ibas-Healing.
Hi, good evening.
So you're telling me that you have a lawyer?
Yeah,
Who is your lawyer?
Attorney Rehan.
Who is it?
Rehan?
See if they filed it. Do you know if this person is going to show up today?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay. We're just going to do probable cause now. You now are charged with unlawful restraint. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable.
Let's unpack this. Unlawful restraint means keeping someone from leaving against their will. That's not just an argument. It's a criminal charge that could land you in jail for a year. And notice how calmly it's delivered. Like, it's just another Tuesday.
Cause you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews if you cannot afford a lawyer. A lawyer will be appointed to represent you. We will do this now. And then after that, we will just have you wait right over there for your lawyer to
Oh,
come.
good
Hopefully they
Lord.
will show up. Okay,
Thank
I
you,
love
Your
you.
Honor.
Good morning.
On August 5th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a hostage event at a townhouse in Harris County, Texas. The reporting, who is the project manager of the townhouse.
Sorry, I see I was muted. All I'm saying is I think it's insane they're allowing her to cover her hand with that bag. It's dangerous as hell. I don't know what happens here, but everybody sent it to me and I see why, because it's crazy.
Complex called 911. The reporting indicated that the defendant was wearing an all-black religious garment and had a face mask. She had locked.
This part is wild. Cutting utilities to get a tenant to leave? That's what's called constructive eviction, and it's illegal in most states. So is locking someone inside with no way out? What do you think? Is this desperation or domination?
One of his employees, the complaining witness, inside a townhouse against his will. The reporting advised that the defendant was trying to evict a witness, or trying to get a witness to self-evict. She was trying to get the witness, who is her tenant in the townhouse, to self-evict by shutting down the power and water to the unit repeatedly. The complaining witness, who is the maintenance man for the townhouse complex, went to go check on the tenants to see if they were okay. The reportee indicated that the defendant locked the steel gate, which would not allow the complaining witness to leave. A key lock on the front and key lock on the back side. The tenant did not have the key to the back side of it, so if she locks the front, there's no way to pass through the gate.
Okay, so the unlawful restraint is out,
Yes, Your Honor.
outside?
It's a gate, and then I have, like the gate in the porch, on the porch, like a burglar gate.
Okay, so I'm assuming, so here's the door,
Mhm.
and then you have, I guess what, like those black burglar bars
Yes,
that they
yes,
say.
Your Honor.
So he couldn't get into the house
He couldn't get out of the house.
and he couldn't
She
get
locked
out,
him in the house without electricity or air conditioning.
and no back door to get out, no window. I don't understand.
This is not the way to do it. Of course, it's legal as all get out.
We're getting there, Your Honor. When officers arrived, they spoke with the complaining witness, who said that he escaped 5 minutes prior.
But I
And the
understand it.
defendant and
I
the
understand
witness were still inside the home. The complaining witness reported the house was really hot because the air conditioning wasn't on. Complaining witness stated the back patio door was also locked, and the defendant had locked him in. Defendant had made a motion at the time to her purse, which the complaining witness believed, or which made the complaining witness believe that she had a gun. The witness collaborated the complaining witness's story, and
I don't understand how this person cannot just unlock the door and leave from,
it was locked. It's so the doors, instead of having a push button on one end and then a key lock on both sides, on the other side, it's a key lock on both sides.
on both sides.
That's the doors, Your Honor, which the maintenance man, the complaining witness indicated was a violation of the fire code.
But that's neither here nor there, but doesn't this person have a master key? Or I guess this is a residence,
He
right?
doesn't have a master key, Your Honor. He's the maintenance man for like the condo association. So he maintains the condo. Each of the units has its own keys.
How long was allegedly stuck in the house and how did he get out? This is unusual.
This exchange is a red flag. Telling someone to shut up while they're asking to leave? That goes from dispute to potential intimidation. And if there's video evidence backing that up, that's powerful stuff in court.
What?
And why? Was there did this, well, I guess,
She was attempting to turn the power and water back on in the unit, because she has
Okay.
been repeatedly turning off the power for the tenants who live there. He told her repeatedly that he wanted to leave.
so
Yeah.
presumably she's outside
I'm not
at this
endorsing
time?
it.
She's in there with him, Your Honor. She asked him to sit down on the chair. There's a video that shows complainant asking defendant to let him go multiple times. And with her telling the complainant to shut up. I don't have the means by which he had left the apartment, Your Honor. I just know that he got out at some point. In fact, he got out 5 minutes before the officers arrived.
So he was able to leave 5 minutes before the officers arrived?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she let him go?
So it says, for the OR at least, the duration of time, I know that was asked, an hour and 20 minutes. I'm gonna see how he left. I'm trying to read through the OR to supplement your questions, Judge.
I don't know if I'm ready to rule yet. Ms. Agvasieli, are you sure that you're going to have a lawyer here today? Because I'd like to hear your side.
My lawyer, yeah.
Um,
Attorney Rehan, yeah.
I don't want to rule just yet, but I'd like to hear your side. If
I'd
there's,
like to be silent. I'd like to wait on my lawyer.
well, right, I'm right. And I'm not asking you to say anything now. When that person gets here, then you talk with them and then we can
Yeah, sure.
readdress
Yes, sir.
PC at
Yes, Your Honor.
that. So do you mind just taking a seat for me and then just giving us a heads up when your lawyer comes? Come, Ms. Agvasieli, come up, ma'am.
I explained to her the no contact here.
Okay, great. Okay,
I agree, but I would.
I am for now, I am going to find that there's probable cause to go forward. If something develops in the future, I've told that you guys can come back and we can argue about probable cause. The only thing I'm going to ask you is please do not have contact with the complaining witness in this case and don't be in possession of any weapons. As long as you can abide by these and you do not pick up any new cases, you will be fine with us. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but please stay in contact. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant.
Here's where it gets technical but important. Body cam footage could be the smoking gun. If it shows what the witness claimed, case closed. But if it doesn't, whole new ballgame. Think this. Footage will back up the drama or unravel it.
Okay?
I don't know what that was. I don't know what the hell what those gurglings were, but this is weird. I don't even understand. Is she the landlord or the tenant? Or you can't even see a face. I'm assuming it's a she. This is so weird. I just can't get past, you can't do that in court. I'd be like, take that off, or I'm holding you in contempt. We're going to throw you in the lockup right now. That's it. You can't appear in court like that. That's just a basic starting point. And then we'll get to the weird facts of this case. This one's interesting.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so just no contact, no weapons, and that's it. Okay?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Just to go back to the body cam issue itself, right? The body cam issue itself, like, say if I were to file a motion to restore property or return property, it's been tagged, so I don't know how we're gonna.
I mean, I don't think that you would have any opposition to that, would you?
I do, at this juncture, I think Pavel said the body cam, like to retrieve her body cameras from HPD evidence.
For the motion to restore, Judge, I just need to talk to the investigator and see if we're retrieving it anyways.
If you're what?
If we're gonna retrieve that footage to
Right.
make it available, I think we're already in the process of doing that. That's the only thing that's holding me back. But right now, I'm objecting because of, it's part of a pending investigation. At this point, I just need to confirm it with the investigator.
Do you want to set it a couple weeks just to see if that happens?
Yeah, I mean, I really just need a week, but yeah, a couple weeks. would be
Are we
great.
judge, because like I said. he's
I'm
not-
awaiting her appearance.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, she's not gonna have to come here, so
2 weeks was suffice, Judge.
whatever you want, I don't care. Yeah, because you guys fight over whatever day, and then, I mean, if you want to, I'll grant your motion to get it back. though,
Yes, sir.
If they're not gonna get it back first, so.
Okay, so we don't get anywhere with that. This is bizarre. I do want to see the follow-up appearance. Someone tip me off when that's happening. Well, let me see here. What else do we have?
So I'm not asking, I mean, the case already is closed. You can double close.
Everybody
it,
also sent
yes.
me this.
However, there's still remaining business to be done on this case.
Kim keeps going. He'll never stop.
All right. State versus Kim Blandino, 22 CR 041030.
Good morning, Judge. Kim Blandino, appearing pro se for Kim Blandino. Standby counsel, well, purported standby counsel. I want to substitute attorneys on this matter. States filed an opposition. I didn't have time to file a reply.
All right, Ms. Crum, I don't think I saw the opposition.
It's on Odyssey, Your Honor, but it is very brief.
I've got
I
a
can
copy
just-
if you'd like to take a look at it.
Oh, that's okay, thank you. I can actually, Your Honor, as the whole of my argument, just read it. It's just one paragraph,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Sure.
And our position in the defendant's motion to substitute counsel would be that to the extent that the defendant is seeking to represent himself in this case, the state of Nevada opposes such request based upon the law of the case. Defendant's right to self-representation has been revoked in this case and so affirmed by the Nevada Court of Appeals. Moreover, as it relates to appointing any other attorney to represent defendant in this case, there is no indication in the motion that a new appointment is necessary or that there even exists a basis for such request. And with that, I'll submit, Your Honor.
Okay.
Oh, I'd like to reply. yeah.
All right. So let me make sure I understand this. Mr. Gersten.
Yes, sir.
If you could get me up to speed as to your role in this case.
Very simply, Your Honor. It goes back a bit. Mr. Blandino has had several cases in the district court, the appellate court, and here. I've been appointed in all of those cases based on way back in the district court with Judge Levitt. There was a jury trial. Judge Levitt claimed that Mr. Blandino was. You want to do this or me?
Okay, you got
Was
my-
disruptive in front of the jury. As a result, she revoked his status to represent himself. That's I got appointed. At a later time, I tried to get off of every case and was denied all along the way. And it was Judge Sacento in this case where he denied that based on Judge Levitt's ruling that he was, difficult. Disruptive. Sorry, he's going to yell at me for using the word difficult.
No.
As a result, I've been representing him. Recently, in this particular case, he's been trying to get his property back. The last hearing we had, Judge Bradford allowed him to appear pro se and do whatever it was that he was doing. I think he was getting a motion signed, an order signed to get his property back. That has not happened. From my understanding, Metro is ignoring the lawful order from this court to return his property. As a result, Mr. Blandino feels he's going to have to file writs, et cetera, et cetera. So what he's trying to do right now is represent himself and not have to rely on my representations. And like I said, the last hearing, Judge Bradford allowed it. I don't know what her ongoing thoughts are going to be.
All right. So hold on, Mr. Blandino. Let me get. So what is the status of all of his other cases that you represent him on?
So
Gersten?
the district court case is closed. The appellate court case is closed. My understanding is this is current. Would you stop? This is the only case that is open strictly for this return of property. There is a new case, an A case that has been filed in the district court where he is he has filed a writ of habeas corpus.
Oh my God.
That is currently pending, and I believe tomorrow he has a motion on to represent himself in that case. Did I get that right?
Well, actually, point of fact, I am representing myself. Currently, I'm asking to have you appointed standby counsel only. As a status check on that. That's a certified copy. They didn't ignore it. They refused to honor it. I've got the girl's badge number, Rachel 5887. Can I speak?
All right. So here's kind of how I see this. I have the community service requirement taken care of, and any outstanding, and it looks like all outstanding requirements are completed on this case.
It is. Your
So-
Honor. The requirements are done. And at one point, Judge DeSanto was offering to close the case. However, Mr. Blandino's property is still at the vault. He wanted it back. We made a motion in the district court. They granted it partially. He then came down here and made the motion here. Judge Bradford gave him an order to take to the vault to give the property back. Metro refuses to give back the property.
Okay,
So he's here, I believe, what he's going to seek is the ability to represent himself and then pursue this idea that Metro will not give him back his property.
okay, so so before I hear from Mr. Blandino, here is how I see everything. All the requirements are completed, and I'm inclined to close out this case right now. There's no forfeiture requirement, so anything that Mr. Blandino might be entitled to receive back, Metro would then see that this case is closed and they would return that property. However, if it's contraband or they don't believe he's allowed to have it, then that's an issue between Mr. Blandino and Metro's vault. But as far as the court is concerned, all the requirements have been satisfied. So go ahead, Mr. Blandino.
Judge, this goes to the inherent authority of the court. And the fact of the matter was, there were two original passports, identical. They're originals because my original signatures are on them. Judge Sacento said, Mr. Gersten orally asked for it, and he said, well, go ahead and file a motion for it. This is before he got voted out of office. And so he said, go ahead and file a motion, but make sure you let Metro know. So in fact, while Mr. Gersten was in Europe, that's when this hearing was set for. Judge Bradford acknowledged that it was like what she called a hijack or fugitive motion, but she said in the interest of judicial economy, she would grant the order, but she wanted to have LVMPD to weigh in. She waited to issue this order, the 10 days for LVMPD to respond. They were personally served with the motion for the return of property, and they refused to answer in any way, shape, or form. When I went down to the vault with a certified copy, I presented it to Rachel, badge number 5887 of LVMPD. And she said that you're gonna have to talk to internal affairs about it. I called all internal affairs. I called counsel for LVMPD. I talked to the investigative specialist, Stacy Cutesy, over at the downtown area command. They've got no basis to hold this. They're saying, we believe they're fake. Those are the very charges that the DA denied on the one passport, and then it got dismissed voluntarily at their motion later on in the case for the other one. They've got no basis to hold that unless they're holding information from me as to why they can do this. This court, like any other court, has the inherent authority to order Metro to turn those in. If the vault doesn't want to turn them over to me, if they have someone.
This is what you get for treating Kim with kid gloves. I like Kim. I know Kim personally. He's a nice guy, but he does this for sport. He does this to play games. You've perpetrated a fraud upon the court. We see this every day all over the country. You perpetrated a fraud upon the court and gave false documents for claiming to be a passport, and they're not. They're not legally valid. And if you're not going to prosecute it and you're going to look the other way with that stuff, then either give it back and shut up, or you got this. It's actually frustrating.
Objections, then I can do the motion for order to show cause of why they should be not found in criminal contempt and civil contempt until they turn theirs over. And then if they still refuse, ask that the bring those originals down here so that the court itself can turn those over to me. And then I can seek other civil remedies in the federal court under the Civil Rights Act. Because I told them, I said, you guys, you get these justice of the peace, bench warrants are issued. You guys enforce those all the time. So you're gonna pick and choose which orders from the court you want to obey and which ones you don't want to obey. Not only that, this Rachel was right there in front of me. The passports are just some feet away from her because I had called, they verified they were there. As Mr. Gersten said, I've gotten my other property on 2 other trips down there, computers and hard drives in the district court case. He tried to package this all up for Levitt to get the order from the district court on the passports. She said, no, you're gonna have to go down to the justice court because it was under that case and that event number that the passports were indeed taken. So I'm not asking, I mean, the case already is closed. You can double close it, I guess. However, there's still remaining business to be done on this case, and that is the return of the passports. I should not be required to file a separate federal suit in order to get that property back. Those are passports, they're foreign passports. I need to get those to the Department of State and get those cleared. Moreover, because I did relinquish not renounce my citizenship, I relinquished my US citizenship. I need to get clearance so that they don't, Tom Holman.
Oh, please file it in federal court. They won't play. File this thing in federal court. Kim, I hate to see that. I don't want to see you go down that path, but they will put you in jail for this. They will put you in jail for offering documents to the Kingdom of Israel as legitimate passport. I as a friend, I'm telling you not to do that. But if you do that, that's where we're headed. They have to. They cannot allow this sort of nonsense.
And the rest of the crew don't deport me from this country, which is possible. Or they could deport me to Montana, where I was born. But be that as it may.
Deport me to
I'm following the
Montana.
Process here.
Oh,
and I think that you as a judge should be indignant for the fact that this order is just being ignored like it's toilet. I made point to get a certified copy to present to them, so they couldn't in any way. And I said, you're not doubting that as forgery because you can charge me and cuff me right now. If you think this is a forgery, and then you can take me right down to
Your Honor,
CCBC.
if I may be heard briefly,
Go
I
ahead.
have maybe a proposed solution to this matter. I don't think it would be appropriate to close the matter at this moment because of this ongoing issue. I have had this issue in other cases. I wouldn't say remedy, but I guess structure of it. What occurred was that the defendant in those 2 cases, so the 2 defendants, they filed motions to return the property. I understand Judge Bradford issued an order, but it wasn't accompanied by a motion. I believe a different way we could do it is for the defendant to file a motion to have his property returned. He needs to serve that motion not only on the district attorney's office, but also on Metro's counsel.
I've already done that. They said got.
I would ask to
certified
not be interrupted at this point. If he wishes to file a motion, Metro's counsel will come down and state their representations. I cannot represent Metro and what they're doing. So I would ask that a briefing schedule be set for that he file a motion, we will file our opposition, or Metro can file their opposition. And that way Metro's counsel can be on notice and come down here. As far as I can see in the records, Metro has not appeared on this case, which I believe they are entitled to because they're the ones who are in custody of the passports. So I would ask to set it for a briefing schedule, and then the motion could be heard. As far as why we're here today on the motion for substitution of counsel, it would remain the state's position that because the case has not been closed, as the defendant himself stated, there are outstanding matters in this case, and multiple judges, including a panel of judges in the Nevada Court of Appeals, has found that he is not suitable to represent himself. The state would maintain its request that he remain represented by counsel due to his inability to represent himself. And with that, I'll submit, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
May I rebut?
Go ahead, Mr. Blandino.
Specifically, Judge Bradford addressed that. In fact, she couldn't find the page initially. I personally served, so there would not be any doubt that I personally served LVMPD for the motion. So now, somehow, even though the state is saying they can't represent LVMPD, they're making representations as though they are in fact an advocate for LVMPD, and I object to that. They are impersonating counsel for LVMPD.
All right, so here's what
and
I'm gonna.
charges should be
All right,
held against that.
all right, so Mr. Blandino, here's what we're gonna do. Although I was inclined to close the case today, based off of the state's representations, I will go ahead and set a briefing schedule for the motion, for a renewed motion to return property. I will order that motion be served on the Clark County District Attorney's Office as well as LVMPD. And then and then LVMPD will obviously have a chance to respond. I'm not gonna order a reply in this case. I don't think it's necessary. And we'll go ahead and set a return date. So, Mr. Blandino, I'll give you 2 weeks to go ahead and file that motion.
So it is granted as a substitution of counsel then?
No, I'm getting there, Mr.
Oh, okay,
Blandino.
all right.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So I'll give 2 weeks to file the motion. Ms. Crum will give the state 2 weeks from that date to respond. As to the matter of why we're here today, Ms. Crum, do you have the case that you keep citing to the Nevada Court of Appeals case?
I don't, Your Honor. I apologize. This was not a motion I filed. I can get it. But even defense counsel noted that the trial court and the Court of Appeals found that he was not able to represent himself. And I would argue, based on what's occurred in this courtroom today, he's not apt to represent
Well,
himself.
I guess here's where I struggle with this, because Judge Bradford gave him at least one opportunity.
I believe Mr. Gerson was out of the country, is that correct?
Yes.
So he was not here to represent him because he was out of the country, and I believe she may have given him a limited opportunity to appear without counsel on one specific date, but not that he doesn't need counsel.
Okay.
And Judge Sacento has already ruled on the motion to substitute counsel and has denied it. So this courtroom
That was
itself,
before trial.
this courtroom itself has found that he should not be able to represent himself. And at which point I would find that this motion is entirely inappropriate because it's already been ruled on before.
All right, so
May I rebut, Judge?
no, Mr. Blandino. All right, Ms.
I object to that.
I'll hear from you, Mr. Gerson, because it sounds from what I'm hearing about what happened in district court and then this court with Judge Jacinto and then Judge Bradford that there's a strong law of the case that you should remain as counsel. However, there's the countervailing balance here is that he satisfied all requirements. There's no suspended sentence. So ordinarily, somebody in that situation wouldn't be entitled to appointed counsel. So I'll hear from you as I'm sort of balancing those two.
I'll as basic as I can say it. So yes, at some point during all three cases that I've represented him, the court has come back and said he is to be represented by counsel. They denied the phoretic canvas, etc. The issue in all those cases was, as he mentioned, that was all pre-trial. So we're after that at this point, and he is not under any jeopardy at this point. So, I'll just say to you what I've said to all the courts. Whatever you want me to do, I will do. I know that he wants to represent himself. I don't think he's done half a bad job today. I think he's been, fairly good in his representations. But again, I serve the court's pleasure. And I will add one other thing, that when it came time, even though the case was over and the case was, he needed the order for his property, I did reach out to the Office of Appointed Counsel to make sure I could do that, and they did give me permission to handle the case through the, this issue, even though he could technically have his own counsel. So it really does come down to you, Your Honor, whatever you'd like to do.
Okay,
I stand.
all right.
Judge, may I respond?
So no, Mr. Blandino, I've heard from the state, I've heard from you, I've heard from Mr. Gersten. At this point, I am very reluctant to disturb what has been done by my count, at least 3 other judicial officers. So I will deny the motion for substitution of counsel. We have a briefing schedule as far as a renewed motion for return of property, and hopefully we can get it resolved so we can have some certainty as to what's going to happen with these passports.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's gonna be May 19th at 8:30.
May 19th at 8:30? Thank you.
And that is for the hearing.
That's the
Is
hearing.
the motion due April 28th then?
April 28th and then May 12th.
Thank you.
And then just, Your Honor, for the record, can we order the transcript?
Yes. Yes.
And jazz. And jazz. Can I get the jazz too, Judge?
You're gonna have to put an order in the clerk's office with Jeff.
I will.
No, I'm just telling you.
Can I get them without expense since I am having horse counsel? I believe I should have that at no cost as well. Because I think this is an appealable issue. You've got no basis whatsoever
Stop.
to appoint
I'm
counsel.
representing you now, so stop.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Griffin, I will order transcripts, and however we're going to get Jazz, you can submit the proper paperwork.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Have a good day.
Oh, good Lord. Kim, stop it. I hate saying this, but he just needs to go to jail. And I like him, and I don't want him to go to jail on a personal level, but on a legal level, there's no choice. He's just playing games, he made up a passport to a fictional place, and he's trying to pass that off as having relevance to a court. If I did that, I would be in jail immediately. Immediately. There would be zero tolerance to that from me or any other licensed attorney. Zero. But they think, oh, okay, he's had his fun. Well, let's just, and then they treat him with kid gloves on all of his punishments. And Ben Bateman did a nice job of defending him. And I like this guy, but he needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail because he's wasting everyone's time. He knows he's doing it. He knows he's wrong. He doesn't care. And he's in blatant violation of the law. And if you're not going to enforce the law, then he's going to continue to make complete clowns out of all of you. If I'm the judge in this case, I'm saying give him his damn documents back. If you are not going to prosecute him for the crime that they are, then give them back. And get this crap out of my room. And if you want to file charges later, fine, we will take that up. But for now, why are we screwing around with this? It's a complete waste of time. The one justification you have to keep his stuff is that it's illegal, which it is. But you don't have the stones to say it. Fine. Then give it back. All right. Sorry. I messed up the stream horribly. I think I'll put it in the memory hole. But thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it. Sometimes this happens on the road. Sometimes it happens in Chicago. Probably it happens more often than not. But you know, this one went sideways. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? That's how it is. And the other one is the same concept. We need to enforce court decorum more than we do. You can't have, I guess it was the landlord being charged with sort of an illegal eviction proceedings. I understand if the landlord's not getting paid, I understand resorting to things you shouldn't, but it's still illegal. Having said that, before we reach the merits of that sort of thing, you can't have people covering their face and their hand with a bag where they could point something, specifically a gun, at a judge without being seen. That's insane, and it's beyond you and your safety and your little feels at the moment. It's dangerous not only to you, but to all judges. And that stuff happens. It's not common, but it happens. There needs to be a bright line. You have to show your face in court, and you can't obscure your hands with a bag next to it. And if you think you can't get something past court security, you've got another thing coming. I didn't mean to get all serious this morning. I didn't mean to get all serious. I didn't. But that's the way it played out. All right. Thanks for coming out. I'll see y'all soon.